and we will do our little basic market update real quick, and then we'll get back into SMT, change in state of delivery, and order blocks. Those are going to be the main focuses today. I usually take the 15-minute candle as opening candle from New York session. Yeah, yeah, I mean, same. But yeah, anytime we just like start going lower and lower and lower, um, and we're making, like I said, kind of like a broadening formation, usually these days I try to just not be too involved, 'cause it can get pretty messy. Yeah, if you mapped out the high and the low, right, it would be this is the high, this is the low. There's the market structure break, there's the change in state of delivery, which I guess technically you're still in the trade, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I believe we said our bias was still lower, right? Let's look at the daily. Yeah, I mean, here's here's the trade I would have probably been looking for on BTC. Got that daily fair value gap. And well, I guess we'll just start with BTC since we're already doing it. Um, Here's that candle one high being manipulated, right? From the daily, we would drop down to the 1 hour. Let's just map out this ERL real quick. Okay, so then dropping to the 1 hour, there's that stop hunt that we needed above candle one's high, right? I mean, it's a super strong candle as well. But after that happens, then yeah, I'd be looking for change in state of delivery, which it happens um, on that next candle. Probably could have taken this one too, this order block right here. It's pretty nice. But yeah, I'm thinking this is probably gonna start to drift all the way back down to um, that ERL. And I know that it's a little bit difficult to see the market maker sell model here, but if we just look at this as our original consolidation, this is our first move up, that's our second move up, and now we start to enter that sell side of the curve, right? Yeah, yeah, literally, it was pretty textbook. So yeah, I'm thinking lower on BTC. Let's leave our annotations like this. Right, there's the buy side. Now we're in the sell side. I don't know. Is anybody bullish on BTC right now? So we'd be looking at the same thing. No, there's no fair value gap that we're keying off of on the daily at least. There's that 4 hour order block though. Right here. So that's going to be our key level. So we'll go ahead and drop down to the 15-minute to see if we can see that market maker sell model. It's pretty messy to be honest, but yeah, that's what I would be looking at. Looking at this at the original consolidation, buy side of the curve, sell side of the curve. Liquidation 1.8 billion again till 62K. Yeesh. Yeah, I mean, I feel like probably, like I said before, towards the end of March, I really feel like is when things will start to maybe turn around. But for now, yeah, just doesn't look good, right? So yeah, lower for Ethereum. There's probably maybe a potential trade. I mean, it's out of a kill zone, so maybe not, but at least this last 4 hour close kind of goes in line with the idea that we think a little bit lower. Let's see. Yeah, Sol's also not coming off of a fair value gap on the daily or the weekly. Um, we can take premium discount of this leg. These ones failed. So that's the fair value gap that we're keying off of. Now there's a lot of really stacked blunt highs up here. Um, I'd be really interested in those being taken out at some point. 'Cause they're very, I mean, they're very close to each other, right? We got those relative equal highs. 2 billion liquidation till 1780. I mean, we're not that far off. Let's see, what's our target at? Yeah, just about 1760. Pretty close. So that's ETH, SOL, BTC, and Q, right? So I won't go too deep into this today, but I may as well mention it just because it is something that happens a lot and it's probably something we could start to maybe look for a little bit. But something called the double purge, where sometimes when you're bullish, you actually want to see us sweep a high and then sweep a low after, right? And usually inside of here, we get pretty good, we should get a pretty good move because, like, let's take a look at what we got, right? We got this 4 hour order block here. We've got a nice fair value gap overlaid, right? So this, in theory, should be a protected swing. So maybe tomorrow is what, Wednesday? Um, yeah, maybe looking for some longs tomorrow. We got relative equal highs up here. Yeah, so I'd be waiting for maybe a close back inside of a candle one before I started maybe getting ready for something like that. That's what I'd be thinking. Okay, and then take a look at dollar again. So pretty much same thing that we've been talking about, right? We map out our key level on the high time frame. We look for the market maker model on the paired time frame, and then we try to see where we're at inside of that market maker model so we can start trading with that trend, right? So yeah, still lower for dollar. Any moves up, I think, uh, are good to fade for lower. 62 100 for long. What do you think? Oh, 67 100. Um, I mean, me personally, I feel like we're starting to make the move back down here. So I wouldn't want to long, especially because there's nothing yet on the like weekly or daily. I mean, the only long that I would have been interested in maybe is this candle closure. I mean, maybe we might get another one, but we already tapped in to this IRL, right? And so anytime we hit IRL, we expect price to start to move to ERL. So, not a fan of longs. We're in candle 4 right now as well, so candle 4 and 5 should expand us at least to this candle 1's low. Let's see though. No, I like to wait for the maybe the like on the trend moves, I don't want to be going against the trend. Volume in crypto since last dip has been very minimal, so I think lower. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so then we did DXY and QBC, so we talked about gold. Yeah, so I guess um today didn't pan out for at least my longs. I mean, I was up. I could have taken profits, but really was aiming for that high right there. So what I'd be looking for now, we have a fair value gap with a daily order block. Right, so I'd be looking for a move back into that internal range just for us to go back up, right? We can already see we have a consolidation here. Could just go like this, very small market maker model, and then move back up into here. I don't know if that takes place tomorrow, uh, or sometime this week. We could just consolidate for a little bit, but we'll see. We're about to print an inside candle, right? So again, we map out this candle's high, this candle's low. It's trapped inside. Typically, anytime we see inside candles, we get really good moves after. So let's see, maybe we can find a little quick example of an inside candle. Mm, yeah, maybe like this one right here. I know it takes out the low just by a little bit, but for the most part, it's still encapsulated in this candle. And the next candle gets pretty explosive. So yeah, we talk about these candles that are trapped inside of the previous candle as consolidation. And as we know, right, after consolidation, typically we expect expansion. So yeah, we'll leave that on our notes for now. I don't think anybody really cares anymore about maybe these coins. I don't know. Do you guys want to look at anything? If not, we can just we can move on to the SMT. AXS? Is that, what is it? Is it Axie Infinity? You're talking about this one, right? Yeah, Asian session can be pretty good sometimes for gold. This is a really old coin. It's been a long time since I've even heard of this one, but they were pretty crazy when things were popping off. So we got a ginormous fucking weekly fair value gap. If you're looking to go spot, I would say anything inside of the fair value gap is free game. If we drop down to the lower time frame, so we hit the key level, we're looking for an inversion, right? No inversions, no inversions. Here we go. There's that first inversion, right? So once again, guys, just like to reiterate, high time frame framework, aka IRL, right? And once we hit that level, I'm on the ball looking for that inversion, or maybe even a market structure break with a good displacement. But you can see we move lower. First time that we inverse is right here. Okay, so like I told you guys last time, even if we close outside of the inverse, it doesn't matter to me. Like it does, but it doesn't mean that the idea is just trashed. Uh, because an inversion is kind of like the same thing as a market structure break. I'm just looking for that information that we are bullish enough to create a break in structure, right? So the main piece of information that I get from the inverse is that this low should be protected and we should start moving into the buy side of a curve, right? You can see we come back after um, exploding through it, come back, retest in this fair value gap. We have another fair value gap right here, right? Moving up. It's good low hanging fruit target if somebody's going to go with leverage. There's a lot of relative equal highs up here for sure. So at this point, I would want to see all of these order blocks being created. I want to see them support price going higher. Now, to $14 is like, I mean, you're aiming really high, right? Me personally, if I'm trading something spot, I'm probably just taking it up into here. Is kind of like my max. We can even draw out the standard deviations for this. Let's see. We'll use this leg right here. All right, let's see. Oh, the wrong one, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, see the -2, -2.5 is lining up pretty much perfectly with that weekly ERL. And then max expansions at $4. But I don't know, you might be holding to fucking like bull market things, you know. Uh, but I would just be careful with how much you're putting in. You know, when you go spot, it's safer, but you're also locking up more capital. But I mean, if you got that fuck you money, then don't even worry about it. But yeah, $14, bro. Like maybe even on the monthly. Yeah, it's a monthly high. Let's see. Sheesh. Is there like something that they're doing or Grim, how many fair value gap are looking into? Because I see a lot right now. On the 4 hour, 5%, not bad. So yeah, let's do it together, right? So once we hit the key level is when I'm paying attention to the fair value gaps, right? We get one, and I'm paying attention to all of them because all of them are a candidate for an inversion, right? We don't inverse on this one. We don't get an inverse on this one, but we do get an inverse on this one, right? So I'm just literally looking for the first inversion. So all of them are relevant after we've hit the high time frame level, right? And later on I can, you know, use them to kind of support my idea that if we keep inversing these, you know, it's showing me that price is strong. Does that, hopefully that answers your question. Atom? Yeah, for sure. Let's look at it. Atoms, I mean, that's a dino coin, but I know that at least back in the day, it was a very important coin. Okay, so we swept ERL. Bro, look at that. Damn. This shit literally went to fucking zero. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it did. I mean, shit. You catch that short. God damn. Alright, so did we get. Yeah, we got a weekly change in state of delivery here. So this whole thing right here is going to be a weekly order block, bearish order block. We've got a bearish inversion as well here, and that maps out pretty nicely with this weekly fair value gap. So I'm actually just going to take this. We did get a nice candle close back inside candle one after sweeping a low, but the overall context is bearish, right? So I'm only anticipating bullish moves so that I can trade them back lower. Yeah, they might be dead. They might be only be alive for shorting. So for me personally, if we drop down to that 4 hour, I would expect that we get one more move up into there like that, and then we start sending lower into here. Those would be my expectations. And yeah, like if you're buying spot on these, like I would say at least wait till like we start curling back up, you know. It's not the worst thing in the world to buy a little bit more expensive in return, you know. But we could see this huge market maker sell model taking place, right? Sell side of the curve, buy side of, or other way around. Buy side of the curve, sell side of the curve, and yeah, pretty nasty. Kite? Kite? Okay, kite's actually one I've never heard of. So, let's see. Is this one new? Wow. Okay. Kickass knows something about this coin, guys. He's got insider information because this is the only fucking chart in crypto that looks like this. Alright, so nothing really there for us on the weekly, but I do want to take the standard deviations here. Yeah, it's really useful for that, for sure. Okay, we can also map out this. And they line up pretty nicely, so I'll just take this one off. So targets, I mean, what is this, by the way? Like, do you know, or are you just good looking chart? Zoom in a little bit. You can see we respected the daily fair value gap back here. Kind of spent some time inside of it. Took out that ERL. We got our market structure break. We have another fair value gap. I don't know if it's going to get hit though, because we just had a huge reversal candle being printed right now. AI? Shit, say no more. So yeah, I think maybe, I don't know if we get a move back down, to be honest. That looks really strong. Yeah, for a price to move all the way back down here, we do, is this equal lows? Let's see, 16, 15.99. Hmm. Pretty much, very, very close, but this low did technically get taken out. So yeah, I don't know if this thing gives another opportunity. Maybe inside of here though. Let's map out premium discount real quick. Yeah, I'll probably be looking for a move back into this fair value gap, drop down to the 15-minute, wait for an inversion, and then take that is what I would do. Right? And we wait for that inversion, and then we can target these relative equal highs. Are you not worried that it made a lower high? Um, no, because I mean, if you're talking about this as a lower high, um, when we think about the buy side of the curve, right? You know, we may have higher highs to the left, right? But we gotta make highs like this to go all the way up into that final ERL. So no, I would normally if we didn't have like I mean, there's a super strong market structure break here, right? Which means that this IRL should work out for us. So yeah, but right now it does look like it's gonna retrace at least into here, into a discount. That's a really nice one though. I'm gonna keep an eye on this one. Any other requests? Anything else you guys want to look at? SMTs, Cracklitos, knows what's up. All right, cool. Let's get into it then. Okay, so we need to really think about what it is that we do with SMT, right? And have to think about all the things that we need to do leading up into SMT. Briefly went over the silver bullet zone. We can touch on that if you want. But yeah, so we have to think about all the things that have been leading up into learning SMT, right? Because once again, it's really easy for you guys to like start looking for SMT and that kind of be like the end all be all, right? Just thinking that that's going to be like your signal from now on. But if you try doing that, what you're going to notice is it's actually very hard to find SMT when you're not looking in the correct places. And the correct places to look for SMT are inside those standard deviation zones that we've been working with recently, and of course in key levels, right? So if this 4 hour fair value gap is my key level and this order block is my key level, I'm going to be looking for SMT maybe potentially around this low, um, maybe side by side, right? I'm going to be looking very close to wherever it is my key level is, right? So let's see. If you can see, right, if you pay attention to these 4-hour candles, right? Pay attention here. Candle 1, candle 2, candle 3, right? Notice that on YM, candle 1's high remains. And when we go to one of the correlated assets, right? This is how we use it. When we go to one of the correlated assets, we can see that this high was taken out. So where is the SMT? At a 4-hour high, key level, right? Candle 1 gets taken out. Candle 1's high gets taken out on NQ, and it does not get taken out on YM. Also gets taken out on ES. But as you can see, right, we're using the triad of these three correlated assets. Okay, so you could have caught shorts today if you were looking at this, right? So we have the SMT here. Okay, now remember, we're not on the 4-hour chart. We've got the 4-hour candles to help us out here. Um, it's you can type in ICT high time frame and then just put fatty. 2 degrees has one as well, but I'm pretty sure that he's got like there's like some things you can't do. He wants you to pay for it. But yeah, this one's nice and free, so it's really easy to see SMT when you're looking at candles side by side. When you start dropping down into the lower time frames, it's a little bit harder um, to be able to see that. Okay. So yeah, you can also by separating your days by New York midnight, you can also see sometimes like we've taken out previous day high and maybe on the other ones we did not, but there's that SMT, right? This actually, and it's taking place at that key level. So once we get that SMT at a key level, we need to do that, make sure that we get the things done that we typically do, right? Which now that the SMT is formed, now I will look for change in state of delivery. Now I will look for inversion and for those to become higher probability essentially, right? So we get that change in state of delivery here, right? There's one here, or you could use this one as well, right? So we got a big bearish order block here. We have a market structure break, and then we have high probability IRL, right? So there would have probably been your trade, right? Let's take a look at some more examples. Let's go replay mode. Let's see, let's look for a classic sell day. Let's go 1 hour. Let's check 4-hour real quick. Daily. All right, cool. Let's go back down to 1 hour. All right, so we're gonna, once again, another thing you guys can do, you can split your screen up. I don't think you can use dual replay mode, but still, you can put all three of these side by side if you guys are going to be trading this. Have the high time frame fatty indicator out, and it will be a lot easier to see the SMTs. What's your configuration for ICT? Here, I'll throw up the settings. I'll leave them there for a minute. Um, yeah, so I guess just like a little crash course on how to use this. You can change the amount of candles that are being displayed. Obviously, because we work a lot with swing points and stuff like that, I'm usually typically using 3, right, for each of them because I'm just mainly trying to see where those swing points are, right? Um, I mean, the candles are just black and white. You can kind of change how far the candles are from your smaller candles, right? And this other stuff, I mean, it's good, but I don't really use like the opening and closes because I can just see them here. I know how to find it on my own. But yeah, it's a really solid indicator. Not using the daily. I guess we can maybe see. All right, so let's put on. Okay, it's already on. Sweet. Okay, so per usual, let's wait for Asia session to finish out here. Okay, London, right? So you get London's high taken out. So if you want to be looking for SMT or you want to practice, also ask yourself, um, do we take out certain session highs or lows and not do it on the other assets? And it doesn't always have to happen like this, right? Um, you can see probably on all three of these, Asia's high is being taken out, right? So Asia's high being taken out, so we hit a key level. Now we can start looking for potential reversals, right? Here is a inverse. We have a lot of low resistance liquidity. Okay, there's the inverse. We probably would have gotten in here, put our stop at the high, right? And so now we're just going to scan between the 3 and C, right? We took out the last 4-hour candle. We took out the last daily candle. We took out the last 4-hour candle. We did not take out the last daily candle on YM, okay? You guys can see that. High gets taken out. High does not get taken out. So we have some daily SMT. Yep. Change in state of delivery too. Good eye for sure. We can map that out as well. Change in state of delivery here. And something that's really interesting, guys, that we'll eventually go over, the way that reversals form when it comes to inversions, order blocks, fair value gaps, turtle soup, there is a specific sequence in which they form. Sometimes whatever New York does, Asia does the same, like yesterday dump. Hmm. Yeah, maybe. Uh, That's not something I super think about, but yeah, could be. So we get that change in stated delivery here, right? And as you guys can see, the inversion, it's one of the earliest entries you can get, which is why it's my personal favorite to trade. Um, but yeah, so we have that daily SMT as well. So that's going to tell me, right? We can see the SMT is here. So look, right now I'm using not only the high time frame candles, but if you guys can see this this vertical line here, let me actually make it a little bit brighter. Oh, is that the wrong one? Let's see. Oh, I guess not. Okay, well, sorry if it's hard for you to see, but 12 a.m. midnight, right? So we look at yesterday's high, does not get taken out in London. We go to NASDAQ, map out yesterday's high, and it gets taken out, right? So there's your SMT or divergence, whatever you want to call it, but SMT is probably the correct terminology. So now that we have that SMT and we have everything else that we use, this is going to become a protected high. I do not want to see price come back up into here. I don't want to see it take out this high. If it does, then I was simply just wrong. Okay, so could take a nice trade, even if we get in on the change in stated delivery. We can aim for our 2RR. Let's see, and we'll watch it play out together. Okay, stop loss, TP. Okay, so we gotta move back into that fair value gap. And as we can see, right, buy side of the curve, starting to move into the sell side. All right, what time is it? Waiting for New York. It's pre-market. Let's see, hopefully we don't get stopped. Okay, that move back up, takes out these highs, and get a super massive move lower. Right, so there's the trade that you could have potentially taken. All right, and a really, really nice expansion. Now, again, guys, we really like our toolbox. If somebody opens up our toolbox, the main things that are in there are swing points, IRL, ERL, and now hopefully we can start to incorporate SMT because SMT, just like swing points, always are the origin of significant moves. Every major reversal, you're going to find SMT there. There is an SMT there. And there are different kinds of SMTs, which we'll probably save for tomorrow because it will probably take up like a good chunk of our time because we're gonna look at pretty much SMT doesn't always have to be a high or a low being taken out. SMT could be on NASDAQ we hit the daily order block, but on YM we did not. Okay, and so we're gonna look at the different examples of when SMT takes place, but is not just with a high or low, right? Often goes back to the point 0.5 fib level between CISD and top. Uh, yeah, if you mean the mean threshold, which is what we call the midpoint of an order block. Where is it? What? Oh, there it is. Yeah, the midpoint of the order block is something that I also like to use. The midpoint is usually typically very sensitive. I usually don't want to see price go up here into the first quadrant or the second quadrant, sorry. I want to see it stay in the lower half if I'm of the opinion that it's very bearish. For example, if London takes out Asia high and then New York takes out London highs, do we still expect NY to distribute the other way? Let's see. You said it happened on gold yesterday. Let's just end that real quick. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So Monday, so let me read it one more time. If London takes out Asia highs, okay, I guess we can count that as London taking it out. Um, Today. Okay, okay. So if London takes out Asia highs and New York takes out London highs, do we still expect NY to distribute the other way? Yeah, so this profile, um, this reversal profile, typically, like when I backtest, and we'll go over this, this is going to be called protraction profiles, which essentially we're going to go over uh, the things that can or cannot happen when London does this or London does that. And we're going to start kind of filtering out all the different kinds of scenarios that could happen um, with the session liquidity. But yeah, anytime I see like Asia like this, and then London goes higher, and then New York is going higher, I'm already thinking to myself that all of this low resistance liquidity being taken, uh, I, if I'm like of the opinion of a reversal, I do want to see this taking place because usually it's indicative of a big move lower to take it out. And the Judas swing is literally um, that. Oops, mic disconnected. Like we could see that is like the accumulation. There's that final manipulation in New York. Um, and then, yeah, then we distribute lower. So yeah, that's a really good question. In today's NQ market, where is the manipulation? I thought London is manipulation, but NY took that. Here's a little tip. If you're expecting some form of reversal candle, um, that reversal will likely take place in New York. If you're looking for a continuation candle, that's usually when London is setting the lower the high, right? So, AKA what I'm telling you just as like a refresher, if you're expecting a continuation candle, right? This part of the wick right here is usually London and Asia, right? It forms that lower half of the wick. And then New York is usually expansion. But when we have New York or when we have reversal candles, right? Something like this. Typically, what we'll see is Asia, London, and then New York. Okay, I think actually maybe have a schematic for that. Let me post it in the chat real quick, just so you guys can see. But yeah, that's a really good question because yes, if you guys study too, or you backtest, you guys are going to start to see that certain things take place like this, right? Where Asia, London, everything's drifting higher, and then New York hits. And usually it's after 10:30 that a reversal takes place. Not every time, but statistically speaking, it's usually after 10:30. And then we can see price go lower. So if you see London take out the high and we don't get some sort of change in stated delivery for lower, and that's your narrative, right? And we just see things drifting higher, get ready for New York to likely look something like that. But here, there's that schematic. And yeah, it's got some steps on it as well. But yeah, we're gonna go over that as well. You know, the different profiles for the sessions, for the weeks, right? What does a midweek reversal look like? You know, those kinds of things. Because again, guys, there's only a certain amount of things that can happen. So if we can condense it down, it's gonna help us like so much, significantly. Any questions on that? Okay, back to the SMT, right? So let's do a little quiz. Last 10 minutes. I throw you on a chart, okay? What's the first thing that you guys are doing? Let's say I just tossed you on the weekly. And we'll go on something. Actually, this is fine. Or let's see, maybe gold is better. Yeah, yeah, we'll use gold. Okay. We make sure at some point to align our time frames, right? What else? What else are we doing once we get on this weekly chart? Okay, perfect. I would actually say that this is the first thing that you do, right? That IRL, ERL. Okay. Trend. Yeah. We can use our EMAs for that. We don't really need to on the gold chart, do we? Okay, so let's do all that. Map out IRL. Map out ERL. Yeah, IRL and ERL would be the PD arrays that we'd be using, right? IRL being fair value gaps, ERL being swing point, right? What else am I looking at here specifically? Mm, well, we can think of supply and demand as IRL and ERL. Exactly. We're looking for candle closures, right? We're looking for that candle closure, that candle 2, right? So that we can trade candle 3. Okay, so we're going to map out and put candle 1 low. Okay, so now that we've got all this done, we're going to do what we said earlier, right? Let's actually add in here candle closures. So now we're going to drop down to that 4-hour. Okay, now what are we doing? What's next? General trend is bullish. We have a high time frame IRL, high time frame ERL. We're aligning our time frames. Yeah, mapping relative equal highs. Looking for market maker model. Yes, absolutely. What else am I looking for? What is the purpose of us dropping down in time frame? We're trying to look for something that is going to help strengthen our thesis, right? And what would that be? What could we use? Because we can't just go long using this chart, right? Yeah, for sure. We wait for us to hit a key level. Bam. Absolutely. G's right. And Cracklitos too. G gets maybe like one more point than you just because he said change in state of delivery. So yeah, once we hit that key level, and we went over this last time, guys, that we did not look for liquidity as well. Yeah, we'll map it out here. There's some relative equal highs. There's a high there, right? So change in state of delivery, once we hit that key level, right? We're going to use this, only this candle, right? Like we said in our last session together. Change in state of delivery happens here. Okay, here's the order block. We move back into it and we send higher. Okay, so if we're going to use a change in state of delivery as our confirmation, right? Now we would look for SMT. Okay, and for gold, we would be using silver, right? So let's see, what day does this take place? The 1st of February. Okay, so we see a swing point here. And just notice, right, that like when I flip between these two charts, that silver's is a lot more aggressive, right? Silver comes all the way down um, to these levels down here, right? Which is, we have, let's see, the 8th of January. Okay, 8th of January here. Let's see, did we take that out? No, we didn't. So we have SMT here with silver, change in state of delivery, and we have not returned to that low. The low is protected, right? And when I made the call out, I didn't use change in state of delivery. I used this inverse right here, right? So we inverse. I said probably go in here, put my stop either at this low or this candle body low. But obviously the change in state of delivery it's the better trade here. But do you guys see, right, that everything that we've been working on, one thing I forgot to add, only at the very end are we looking at uh are we looking for SMT. And once again, guys, you don't even need SMT. But I won't lie, it's a really nice addition. Yeah, let's check it out. Can you guys see Discord screen? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. That is like a super nice market maker sell model right there. That is very nice. Cool. You guys are helping each other out. All right, let's see. So notice that we have relative equal highs, right? For the highest probability trade, you would not want opposing equal highs or opposing equal lows. Um, what we could get here is a double purge, right? Where if we're bearish, instead of taking the high first, we're going to take the low, then we're going to take the high, then we're going to go lower. But if there's SMT up here, then that doesn't need to happen. Okay, so check for SMT there, see if it's there. Um, Also, you do need a key level to be hit, right? So whether there's a daily fair value gap over here or a daily order block, you do need to frame it off of a key level. So it's not a bad trade idea, but there are some things missing, right? Maybe if there's SMT, then there's no problem. Um, and yeah, we do need a key level to be hit. So, like as we progress, guys, like you're gonna have the ability um, to be able to look at a trade and kind of rank it, you know? Is this an A plus setup? Is it a B minus setup, right? Depending on how much criteria is being made. Question and trade ideas, let's see. So this cannot be candle 2, right? Because what is candle 2? Candle 2 is the swing point, right? So if candle 2 is supposed to be the swing point, then candle three's high cannot go above it. So it would end up being candles 1, 2, and then 3, right? Let's see. You've got you've got London, you've got pre or New York AM, and then New York PM. So you can go New York AM candle 1, New York PM candle 2, and then out of session candle 3, which is why you get consolidation and candle 2 does the main move here. Does that make sense? Yeah, yeah, and ideally, you would want a, a strong move above, but it's not required. Good question though. All right, fellas. Any last questions, closing remarks? Like I said, it's still I understand that it's still fresh for you guys, the SMT, but go into your charts, do everything that we just showed, and then try and look for it. And feel free to post some stuff in trade ideas. You can send me whatever. Let me know. Appreciate you guys turning up per usual. Um, we're gonna keep cooking, boys. We're gonna keep fucking dishing out the sauce. No problem, guys. Thank you guys too. All right. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.